Welcome to Sweeping the Country one more time. I can't call these guys the Three Musketeers, Jimmy, but these three guys have sure left an imprint on the world of entertainment.
They sure have, and they're three big personalities, but when they're not on mic or on camera, they're really very shy and quiet.
Interesting.
And often prefer to be alone, if you want to know the truth.
Wow.
They're very, they open up when it's time to cut the camera on or do a scene or whatever.
Yeah.
All right, the first one we're going to do is he the most famous radio guy? Certainly the highest paid radio guy ever.
I'll tell you what, he's right up there with Rush Limbaugh to me, but totally different style.
Yeah. I mean, Rush Limbaugh was pretty doggone famous, but the thing with this guy, Howard Stern, is that Rush was never in a movie, and Howard did a movie called Private Parts that was excellent.
It was.
And I've, I enjoy his interviews when he does them on Sirius XM. I enjoy the show. Sometimes it gets a little far out for me with the sex talk and stuff.
Yeah, he can get raunchy. No doubt.
They get raunchy, and not as much as they used to, but I appreciate his talent. Is what I'll say about that.
I agree.
And we did this interview for the movie Private Parts, and he wrote a couple of books. Miss America, I believe, was one of them. Without looking at notes, he just is a fascinating guy. Picked on in New York when he was a kid, raised in Jackson Heights in Queens. His father just recently passed away. He was an audio engineer, and that's where I think he got the bug. He was a radio engineer at WHOM in Manhattan, co-owner and operator of RO Recording, Manhattan Recording Studio, where cartoons and commercials were cut.
Yeah.
And so a lot of famous people came through there. Howard watched, and, he is just a very complex character. And recently, and he's coming up very soon, if he hasn't been already, on HBO with Bruce Springsteen.
Really?
He did an interview with him, but it was so good. And they record all these things with multiple cameras. It was so good that I guess Bruce and Howard got with HBO, and they put it on. They put that interview on HBO Max.
Wow,
so
that's interesting.
Be looking for that if you haven't seen it already. Howard Allen Stern. We were doing publicity at the time for the movie Private Parts.
Yeah, hell of a movie here. We had a big talk about that today. I said, it's just, I mean, if you don't know anything about you and anything else, it just is a good movie.
Yeah, and
it's a good love story. It's anything but what you think this is going to be.
Right, and that's why I could.
And I praised him about the script. I said, this is comparative to the movie Hard Day's Night, in that Alan Owens got an Oscar nomination for that script because it was a good script. It was a good story about this.
It's funny you say that, because that was one of the things that it was based on. Someone had said early on, wouldn't it be great if we hit the tone of A Hard Day's Night? It's funny that you said that. And another person said, this has been a magical day for me, because I think the press is your toughest audience. Most of the people walk in not wanting to like the film or are skeptical when it comes to me. And every person has walked in and said, I love this film.
Well, Betty Thomas did a brilliant job. The screenwriter did a brilliant job.
Yes.
And then the people weren't, all you guys, even Fred, looks like he's a schooled actor.
Yeah, I'll tell you something. Betty was amazing to me. I'm someone who's on the radio every day. I work spontaneously. I like to get in front of the microphone. I got onto that set the first day, and I must tell you, I was like, Betty, get 5 cameras in there, because I can't follow a script. I don't want to memorize anything. I'm going to work spontaneously. And she goes, hold it, Junior. You slow down. Let's talk about what we're doing here. We're making a film. And she really had to show me the ropes, and she made it enjoyable for me and relaxed me and calmed me down. And I know that I can attribute it. If people have said they like my performance, I attribute it all to her.
Some great lines in this movie, several, but he's racist, he's sexist, he's a pig. But listen a while and you get to know him and you like it.
Yeah, right. Well, that's the story of my life. And you know what? Even for audiences that don't know me from the radio, maybe have heard something about me. They said, hey, some gross guy who says dirty words on the air or something like this. I think that I've been around for 20 years now because I've been a little bit more than that. I've made people laugh. And certainly, I wanted to show them the bits that I did on the radio, but I wanted to show them my evolution. Because to me, it always felt like a Rocky story. I always felt like, here was a guy who was attacked by his father, called a moron and stuff. Out of love, in a way, because he just kind of felt like he was worried about me. I was a little odd. And he said, you know, you're an idiot, you're a moron. And then I go on the radio, and I was horrible at it. I was awful. And then as I do this radio thing and this show evolves and I start to get some confidence, there's such consequences. You get on the air and you do lesbian dating game, and you're dragged into a general manager's office. He tells you 50% of your advertisers are gone, and now you got to somehow deal with this guy in a rational, business-like fashion and hold on to your job.
But Howard, I may not hold on to my job after this. I like the movie, okay? I'm not doing it to stroke you. I really think it's a good movie.
Thank you.
But I think they're going to put me in a straitjacket and take me away. Say, you like Howard Stern? You're going to, some women are going to think I'm crazy.
Well, that's the marketing problem here. There are people who are going to go, yeah, I'm hearing it's a good movie and stuff, but how could it be good? How could I possibly like it? I know if I get them in the theater, they're going to like it.
Right.
It is a love story as well.
It absolutely. Allison's a saint, obviously.
People have said to me for years.
Saint Allison.
Yeah, well, people have said to me for years, what kind of woman would marry Howard Stern? And it's a good question because there is betrayal there in a sense that I do talk about her miscarriage on the air. I talk about our personal life, and she doesn't like it.
But it's true that she's mad at you about 300 days a year?
She does get angry with me, yeah, I would say that. But I think when you walk out of the theater, you understand why she loves me also. I think that you see that there's a friendship there, and there's compassion for one another as well. When we're alone and we have our private moments together, it's humorous between us.
All right, there's this lady here. She's a Grammy-nominated, million-selling single.
Okay.
Strawberry Wine, Dina Carter.
Yes.
Her big dream is to do the Howard Stern show.
You're kidding me.
I swear, she's gone to the press and said it and shocked a bunch of people in country music.
No kidding.
But she wants to do the Howard Stern show.
First of all, do you know I'm on a country radio station? I added my first country radio station a couple of months ago. Don't ask me where it is. I can't even remember, but I'm on a country radio station. So what are you saying, that I should have her on the show?
I'm saying that, you tell me, is she your type?
Yes, she is my type. Yes, I would have her on the show. I'm not sure she has to sing anything, though.
No, she doesn't. Actually, she's pretty pop. I mean, this goes on and on and on. Look at this girl here.
Let me see.
I'm selling you, Dina. I'm giving you my time here.
Do you have something going with this,
I like
Dina?
this girl. Well, she shares the last name with me. But
oh, really? Is that true?
She's Carter, and I'm a Carter. We're both Carters.
But is this your wife?
No. I wish she was.
I said, you're having a lot of fun. Well, you obviously want to make her your wife or something.
No, she's married. I mean, I'm just doing this because I'm a hell of a guy.
Are you a fan of hers?
I'm a fan of hers, yes.
All right, I'd have her on. Sure, why not?
I'll tell her. I'll tell her to call Baba Booey.
Is that true? Okay, tell her, tell her not to lose the number.
A New York Times best-selling author. I know he's very proud of that. Each one of his books sold over 1 million copies. But that movie, I think most people thought he had a lot of talent. He didn't, he's a complex person.
Yeah.
I wish he had done a couple of more movies, but this was a great one.
It was, and I think a lot of people didn't see it because during the time before he released the movie, he had been on kind of a run with radio stations and vulgarity and things like that, and people were anti-Howard Stern, right? But if you can get past that, if you've got some kind of mental block there, and just watch the movie, it is really good. It shows his whole story, and it gave me a new appreciation for what he's accomplished over the years.
Was he the original? He wasn't the original shock jock. I guess Imus might have been before him.
Yeah,
but Howard was certainly the razor blade of shock jock.
Indeed.
And everybody was trying to be Howard Stern.
Yeah.
And nobody accomplished even close to being Howard Stern.
No, in fact,
he is a one of a kind. He, he's made a fortune living on Long Island, has a home, I think, in West Palm, and who knows about the rest of it. Has a place in Manhattan. He's done great for himself. He's been scared to death of COVID.
Yeah, he has.
He did all his radio shows from his house.
That's right, yeah.
And the radio staff, they've become stars themselves.
Yeah,
and
Robin is a
they
huge
made
star.
a fortune. Baba Booey and Fred and everybody. So anyway, very complex, rare interview that's not on Letterman or something like that with Howard Stern.
Very rare.
Now, this next guy I've interviewed for a number of movies. I really, really enjoy sitting with him. I've had some different moods with him. This one in particular, we had a great time. It was a movie called A Simple Plan that I don't frankly remember much about, but I remember us talking this time. He's talking about how in his earliest memories, he wanted to be Elvis.
What?
Billy Bob Thornton.
I understand that you're not a big flyer.
Not a real big one.
You don't like to fly? You will fly?
I will.
But it's not your favorite thing? What are you scared of? It's going to fall?
Yeah. Flying, I'm fine with. It's falling, I'm not fond of.
Driving in Arkansas is much worse than driving. I mean, than driving around Arkansas. I mean,
hey, wait a minute, Mr. Nashville. Are you dissing my homeland?
Hey, we've got the worst drivers in the world in Nashville, Tennessee. I drove in Manhattan the other day, and it wasn't as bad as driving any time in Nashville.
Oh, no. Little Rock can get pretty
strange.
It can get that way, yeah.
In this chair, not that many years ago, sat a guy who is now governor of Minnesota. Could I be talking to you today and you could be Billy Bob Thornton, governor of Arkansas in a few years? Would you run?
Ha ha. No, I would never. I
You
would
afraid
never.
Ken Starr might investigate you?
Yes. No.
And all that stuff that would come out would be bad, wouldn't it?
Oh, nah. I've got good stuff.
Oh,
But
good.
no, actually, I wouldn't. I would never be interested in politics. I would be horrible at it. First of all, I'm not very smart. You know, don't you have to be smart?
No.
Oh.
Look at the people that
Maybe
are
I
there.
can. Maybe I can do it then. Yeah. No, I don't think I'll ever be a politician.
That's kind of another form of show business, though, don't you think?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Big time.
No question about it. Probably more scandalous than show business.
You know, this character you play, as you see him over there over your shoulder, we can get him a date. He needs contacts. He needs to get a haircut.
Yes, he does.
And he needs something done with his teeth.
I think we'd start with the teeth. I think get the teeth taken care of. You know, the haircut's easy.
He's a little yeller.
Aren't they?
Did you create this guy? I mean, or did they do that for you, or is this a Billy Bob Thornton creation?
Oh yeah, I come
You
up
came to
with
the
it.
show one day. Okay, here's your
Well,
character. Jim.
I don't just put the stuff on myself, but I go in there and say, here's what I want, and then they come up with it, and boy oh boy,
He's homely.
isn't he?
He's a bit homely.
But isn't he sweet?
He is sweet. You feel sorry for him,
Yeah.
and he's a very humble guy, much like yourself.
Oh, thank you.
Do you remember back when you were the first time you ever really wanted to get in front of a camera or be on stage or something? You remember that first inkling you wanted to do that?
Yeah, I really do. I was really young. My earliest memories are of wanting to be Elvis Presley.
That's where you thought you were going to go into music. That's where your
Sure
really
did.
heart was.
That's what I thought I was going to do. I had those things that elephants put their foot on in the circus? Yeah, this
Risers.
1 foot, whatever it is, look like a drum, kind of like that. I had one of those, a toy one when I was a kid, and a Roy Rogers guitar, and I used to stand on that thing. I can't say a bad word on your show, can I? Do you bleep things?
Yes, I will.
Excellent. So I was standing on this elephant riser thing that I had, and the Roy Rogers guitar. I was 2.5 or something like that, with my hair butch waxed straight up, and I made up my own song. It was the first thing I ever created. It was a song called "Cat Shit on a Rat Box." I don't know where that line
Did you
came
copyright that? Did you try to publish it later?
from. Never did.
Well, it's not a
Never
good
did.
song. It could be played now.
That's right.
It was a little premature probably in the 50s to do that. What was interesting to you about it? Was it the fact that people were yelling at him and they thought he was cool? Or the thought that you could look cool and look at me? Or what was it that you wanted to do?
It just looked like fun. You know, he looked like he was having a good time. Plus, I always wanted to be a lot of different things, you know, and Elvis was everything. You know, he got to be a crop duster. He'd be singing in a crop dusting plane. I thought, wow, that's cool. You know, there's a girl riding down the road in a convertible car waving at him, and he's in a crop duster singing to her. Shit, why wouldn't you want to do that?
I totally agree. It's a great life.
You know, land the plane, go off with her, and then you become like a helicopter pilot because her daddy's rich or whatever. You know, it's great.
I say, look, oh, baby, I work all day. And okay.
That's right.
Everybody remembers him from Sling Blade. You know, all
I
that
reckon,
stuff.
yeah.
We've been through. He was great as the head of NASA in Armageddon.
Yeah, he's
He
a
was
good
in
actor.
So many movies. So many movies. That movie that we were there was 1998, A Simple Plan, which was a crime drama.
I'm gonna
It
have to go
earned
back
him
and
his
see it.
third Oscar nomination. He won an Oscar for Best Adapted Screenplay and was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Actor in Sling Blade, 1996.
And Jimmy, he's still going.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's still
Goliath.
going. Goliath is was Amazon? Is that what that's on?
I think so. And
Yeah.
he's just a great actor. He's a fun musician. The Box Cutters,
Indeed.
I think, is the name of his group. And I went and saw them one night. I mean, I was thrilled.
They're good.
We went to he loved really old-timey traditional country.
Yeah.
There was a guy named Leuven, Charlie Leuven.
Oh, yeah.
And he was doing a book signing one day, and he was like really, I mean, so country, in country.
Oh, yeah.
And Billy Bob knew all about him being from Arkansas. And he wanted to go, so we went to a record signing, and I was there with him. And it was just fun watching him just adore Charlie Leuven. And I think Charlie Leuven was pretty thrilled that an Oscar winner was pretty thrilled about him. Now, this next guy, we have a lot of interviews with him. This is just one of them that I picked out because it was fun.
Okay.
Dustin Hoffman from 1998. Of course, he is let's see. He's won 2 Academy Awards, 6 Golden Globes, 4 BAFTAs, which is British, 3 Drama Desk Awards, 2 Emmy Awards, and all the
Jimmy,
Kennedy Center honors and everything else.
Wasn't one of the awards for playing a woman in Tootsie?
Tootsie. And then, of course, Rain Man.
Oh, yeah. That was
Rain Man,
another good one.
two.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I've always enjoyed Dustin Hoffman's company, and here's a fun interview with him.
I thought you wanted
Word
some
associations here.
Oh, you
Beach or mountain for vacation?
beach,
Coffee or tea?
coffee,
Oldies or classical music?
classical,
Blackjack or roulette?
blackjack,
Green Bay or Denver? Which one'd you pick?
Denver, Elway. I'm old.
Underdog.
Elway never.
Blondes
won
or
it.
brunettes?
This really doesn't matter.
And if you were stranded on a desert island with one of these three people, which one would you choose?
Both.
Robert Redford, Tom Cruise, or Warren Beatty? If you had to be stuck for like
This
2
is the
weeks,
90s.
if you had to get stuck with these guys, which one? Robert Redford, Tom Cruise, or Warren Beatty? For an indefinite period of time.
Indefinite period of time.
This is taking a long time to answer this question.
Well, I'm heterosexual. I know them well. I can't answer it. I can't because it's going to get back to the two I don't pick, and their feelings will be so hurt.
Okay. You have fears like snakes give me the willies pretty much. I don't like them too much. I don't think about drowning too often, but I do think about it when I'm in the water. Do you have fears?
I'm not a good swimmer, so yeah, I've had a couple near problematic moments in the ocean where I thought I wouldn't get back. So yeah, I retain a fear of that. Snakes don't bother me one bit.
I guess I'm a southern boy, and I used to see the water moccasins.
Oh, I see.
We used to hear about people falling in beds of water moccasins and eating and beating.
Oh.
So it always gave me the willies.
No,
Sharks scare a lot of people in the water.
Right.
Doesn't bother you?
I've never seen one in the water. I think it would give me pause if I did.
I heard in this movie you're kind of like an Arnold Schwarzenegger guy. You do these one-arm push-ups, and are you kind of I didn't know you were an athlete, really. I knew you were a runner, maybe.
Yes, I've been an athlete all my life. I'm basically an athlete.
You're a jockey kind of guy.
Yes, I'm a jock. It's one of the things I keep in the closet.
Broadway jock.
Yes, off-Broadway.
Off-Broadway jock. When you're involved in something like an Oscar race, is that kind of a goofy time if you're nominated for that?
No, goofy? No, it's much goofier when you're not nominated.
Okay.
Then you really get goofy.
But you get nervous, so you feel like you have to do the right thing during that period, say hello, be a little extra nice during the voting period, or you hide, or what?
Well, no, there's 90,000. I don't even know. I know in the Screen Actors Guild, I just got nominated, and there's 90,000 members in the Screen Actors Guild. In the Oscars, I think it's everybody. If I get nominated this year for an Oscar, I will feel fairly confident that I'm not going to win. So I think it'll be a little easier time for me. Both Jim Sheridan, who directed The Boxer, and I remarked when we went to the Golden Globes, we said it's the first time we enjoyed it. He said, yeah, it's wonderful there. He says, I knew I wasn't going to win, so I could just watch the room, and I knew I wasn't going to win. I knew I didn't have to worry about a speech, so I could drink my vodkas, and it was one of the best movies I've ever seen.
Well, back to the days of, we were talking about struggling actors once before. Do you ever have fears that, you're going to wake up someday and be poor? Because I'm sure you had those days when you woke up in New York when you didn't have any money, and that probably freaked you out.
No, I never did. I've never gone without any money. I hung out with Gene Hackman, and we were both unemployed, or unemployed as actors. I worked as a waiter, and he was moving furniture up and down 6th-floor walk-ups with refrigerators on his back. But the big difference, and Bob Duvall was working midnight shifts in the post office. We all hung out together. Gene Hackman, however, was married and had a child. It was a very different situation. You really don't starve in this country. Ask an unemployed actor. In those days we'd work a certain number of weeks and we would earn the right to collect unemployment, which was, at that time, the maximum was about $45 a week. You can live on $45. We could live very, very easily, unless you have a family. Then yes, you can starve.
But Dustin always survives.
Huh?
You always survive.
Well, yeah, you can eat.
Dustin Hoffman, he's a character, and just great actor, legendary roles. Yeah. I know that when we were doing interviews, I think we were sometimes doing them in the fall, and boy, he had one eye on the TV screen. I've had that happen to me on many interviews where they keep, like Martin Sheen was watching Notre Dame because he's a big Catholic and he loves Notre Dame. And then Dustin Hoffman, I think, was betting, so he got his eye, on the screen while somebody was playing football. So,
I love it.
Anyway, just a fun guy. We'll do some more Dustin Hoffman interviews at some other time of the vault, but I wanted to to do that one from 1998.
All good stuff. Another great edition of The Vault on Sweeping the Country. Until next week when we do it all again, I'm Derik Walker. He is...
I'm Jimmy Carter.
Good day.
Good day.